constituents and that it is free of contaminants and adulterations. Because at doTERRA, we know the same care and attention, as well as the same commitment to only provide the very best, is not unique to us. They're the same qualities you employ when taking care of those you love the most.
Hello, can you see me? Hi everyone, good to see you. Cool, we've got a lot on tonight. Good to see so many people. So we've got Sue, look all these people that have come in to hear you.
So exciting.
Oh no, amazing. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so before we hand over to Sue, all those numbers, I think you're going to have a record room number tonight, Sue.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Girl power, hey? Right, okay, let's turn over to our... Somebody just muted me then. Is that Andy trying to mute me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay. Okay. Let's just kick straight off before we're over to Sue. Just do a little bit of recognition and some housekeeping, and then I'll hand over to the main event. So here we are, 11th of May. We're getting on with it, aren't we? So great to see you all. Hope you're all doing well, keeping safe, not sort of crawling up the walls too much, understanding what we've got to do. I think we're still trying to work out what we're actually supposed to be doing in terms of who we can talk to at the park and all good things that are happening outside in our outside world. But more importantly than that, we are looking and concentrating on our business. Business is like absolutely booming, isn't it? For those of you that are sort of really on it, I'm sure you're finding that people need our help more than ever, both in terms of with their health and their wellness and keeping their immune system strong, but also financially as well. So it's quite a blessing, isn't it, that we're in a position where we have at our fingertips a way that we can bring hope to people. We can bring hope through the products and also hope through, this fear of what might be happening to incomes and to livelihoods. We've got something really, really amazing that we can bring hope with. So I hope that you are making sure that everyone knows that there is alternatives to that feeling of sort of desperation, really, that people have right now on worry and fear. So I know certainly many of you are doing that. So let's just talk about the recruitment numbers, because that's one of the areas where we have been able to really help. So recruiting is on an all-time high, both for the acquisition of customers and also for the business. So let's just talk about month to date. So congratulations to all of you on the screen that have enrolled 3 people already this month. So Jan Alexander, Mary Burgess, Victoria Gotham, Gemma McLean, Natasha Waite, and Inghalton Interspannen. I'm not sure if that's right. It's the first time I think I've had the pleasure of recognising that person. So congratulations. Please reach out and let me know if I just did a disastrous job at pronouncing your name, and I'll try better next time. So moving on to 4, congratulations to Kim Elberg. Brilliant, Kim. Well done over there in the Netherlands. And then we go to 8. Congratulations to Alison Thomas. and somebody called Lisa Burke. So some great enrolment numbers for only 11 days into the month. And we do normally recognise 2 actually when people are on 2 this early in the month. And I have to tell you, there was so many people on 2, we would have took up the whole hour, me just recognising everybody that was on 2. So congratulations, there is so much enrolling going on. It's really brilliant. So keep up the good work. You've probably been over to doTERRA UK and Ireland and looking at things that Lisa Rooney's been doing. Just to mention, this is her weekly activity this week, and the thing that sort of struck out to me was tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we have a midwife on there, Joanne Yates, that is talking about pregnancy and birth. So I thought that might be a good one. I will link it in and share it once it's finished into the Very Essence group. If you're not a member of that, then please become a member, or I'm sure Sue and Andy will share it as well in the elite group. And there's other things going on, time to dance and all sorts of things like that, and yoga. But I thought that tomorrow the pregnancy and birth particularly would be of interest. And then I just wanted to mention, just in case you haven't seen this, because this is going to be amazing. This is doTERRA Europe doing the web vention, because those of you that were going to be there, we would be in Rome now, I think. Or yeah, we would be, wouldn't we? So of course that all had to get cancelled, but amazingly they have put this webvention on, the first of its kind. They said the first of its kind in Europe. I think it must be the first of its kind probably in doTERRA Global, because this will be a big deal. So it's going to be for 3 days, over the 21st to the 23rd of May. So that's next week, so not long. You can, if you did have a ticket for Rome, you can get onto this for free. You just need to go to doTERRA Essential Oils Europe Facebook group, pick up the login to get your tickets today. You still need to go in and log in and put your ID number in, I think, and it will know automatically that you had a ticket and you'll get access for free. If you didn't have a ticket for Rome, you can still buy your way there, and it's so cheap when I tell you what is going to happen, or what I know of is going to happen. So for 3 days, you can get a ticket for €12. So it's like a tenner. And you're going to have Dr. Hill, you're going to have Emily Wright, all in your front room. There's going to be many of the scientists and physicians and different people from doTERRA. Because it's online, of course, it means that we can get more of those people from corporate in America to come on. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be, the ticket that you buy is going to give you access for 6 days afterwards as well. So don't look at those dates and think, oh, I can't make those dates, so it's not worth it. You can actually go for up to 6 days afterwards and play it back. And your customers can register for this too. Remember, it's a customer event. It's not an advocate event. So all of the presentations will be all around the product. So where you have customers that are really immersed in the product, they may not have traveled to Rome to go to a convention if they were only customers, but they may well be interested in this. So I would really publicize this, because this will really help your business with your product education, and your, obviously keeping your customers engaged. So it will really, really help your business. So that's what's going on corporate wise. Then what else is going on this week? We have on Thursday our next essential health class. So this is the login for it, essentialhealthclass.com. It's the same login that you used 2 weeks ago for the sleep login. Login will be open from 20 past 8, and we encourage you to make this event your own. We do have now, Andy has upgraded the Zoom room, so I think we can have, well, more people than we probably will get in. So don't worry about that. Just invite people. I think it's 500. I can't remember the number, but he'll put me right. So we're gonna, you know, we can fit people in. So you can publicize this publicly or privately or however you want to do it. It can be for continued education, it can be for prospects, it can be for yourself. You can ask your prospects and your customers and other advocates to invite people into it, so we can make it a big event. But we would really encourage you to make it your own, and the best way to make it your own is to create your own event with it. So go to, if you don't know how to do that, go to the Facebook group Essential Health Class Webinar, and in there, go to find this post that Andy did on the 28th of April with a video on how to set up an event. So you can set this up as your own event and make it your own in your Facebook groups or on your Facebook timeline. Also, you will find in that group, so still in the Essential Health Class Webinars group, you will find a post from me on the 7th of May with the text to use for your event. So you can just copy and paste that. You can change it if you want. And that you can, obviously that alongside what Andy was doing in his video will give you all the information you need to set up your event. So make sure that you either co-host me or Andy, then we will get a notification and we can sort of check through and make sure everything's as it should be, and also help and encourage people to come along. You can, just remember, I fell full of this today actually, when it's in a group, for other people to be able to invite other people into it, those people need to be in the group. So if you have friends that want to invite friends, they need to be in your group to be able to invite them. That's not the same as if it's in your own timeline, but if it's in a group, it will be that way. Once you've set up the event, keep it going, keep the conversation going, keep people excited. We've only got 3 days now. So actually, could you pop in the chat for me if you've set up an event or if you're intending to set up an event? It'd be really good to see how many of you are getting engaged with this. How many people need to know how to clean their house? Naturally. Okay, so we'll come in, we'll add the link into your events, and the picture and everything there is there. So good to see you all. Yeah, you'll be getting it set up. So please try and do that, I would say, straight after this call if you haven't done it already, because there's not much time left between now and Thursday. So that's all my updates. I spoke to Andy earlier and he was telling me that a little bit about what Sue is going to talk about tonight, and I'm just like, oh wow, that's amazing. So with no further ado, I'm going to hand over to Sue. And Sue, you've got 51 people on this class or this team call. Is that a record?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I reckon it is. I reckon it's getting up there. Where's Andy anyway?
He's around. His office is downstairs. Mine's upstairs. We'll see.
Right. So but you're not falling out. Here he is.
No, not today.
Hold on. Let me. Andy, have you seen how many people Sue has got on for the team call tonight? You're on mute.
Yeah,
51 people.
I know. I think
is that a record? Is that a record?
I think she's paid some people to come on, but that's fine.
Right, let's put him on mute again.
Kick him out the room.
Over to you, Sue.
So I just wanted to share with you all tonight what I've been doing. Take from it what you will, and you're welcome to copy or whatever, but it's just been so amazing. Now, when I was, before lockdown, when I was out doing business networking things, I would it wouldn't feel necessarily that it was that duplicatable for everybody, because I had the time to go to lots of different business networkings. I had a budget that I put aside that I could use, because some of the meetings were free and some of the meetings weren't free, but I loved going to them. And obviously it took time. And if I wanted to connect with people after the meeting, it was usually a case of having a one-to-one, by either having a coffee or something like that. So it all took time, and it was very, you know, it was a long drawn out process, but things have changed. So after that first week, and settling down to things, I noticed that what people started to do was to go online. What people that ran business network meetings started to do was started to put them online. Some people have even put their wellness and holistic events online. I haven't gone down that road because I've just been too busy doing what I'm doing, but there are some holistic events that are going on online, and I'm not quite sure of exactly the dynamics of that, but I haven't had to, I was going to try it, but I haven't really needed to. So I'm going to talk to you about these business online network meetings, and they're just like the Zoom calls we see here. This is one of the ones I did last week. You can see me on there up in the corner. I've got my doTERRA banner pulled up at the back, and everybody's enjoying what they're doing. So the first thing you're going to need to do if you want to do what I've been doing is to find some of these online business network meetings. And where you will find them is Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or Eventbrite. If you go on the first three, just simply, well, all of them actually, just search in the search bar, business network meetings. You can narrow the search if you put Kent or whatever county you live in or whatever. But hey, do you know what? I'm now not restricted to just as far as I can drive or as far as I'm prepared to drive to do a meeting and meet people. The UK, the world, it's your oyster right now. So the scope here, I feel, is huge, and I'm just really excited about the whole thing. And also, you ask others when you're speaking to other people. Ask them what other business networking online are doing. I mean, that's something that I did anyway. As I went to different business online meetings, I did talk to lots of other people about what they were finding worked and what they liked best. So. And then there's just an example here of if you were searching on Eventbrite, for example, loads of things come up. There's just so many there, and it could be anywhere really in the world. Oh, do you know what? Andy's gone up there and sneaked in my office. Oh, let's turn the camera off now. Okay, so first of all, you've got to find some of these meetings that you want to go to. If you're not sure, just try a few and see how you get on. Okay, so obviously you've found yourself a meeting, you've booked yourself in. Now when you go onto the call, there's a Zoom call up we've got here, you're going to be able to do a pitch. It could be 30 to 60 seconds, it's not usually more than that. So you need to prepare that. You need to be confident about what you're going to say, so prepare it. Write it on I usually write it on a little card. And then you can prop the card up in front of the computer. Now that's such an advantage to when you're at a physical business network meeting, because there's nothing wrong with reading from a cue card, I suppose, at a physical meeting, but people can see you doing it, so you can kind of be a lot smarter here because you can have your pitch right in front of you. So some of the things you want to say, and find the important thing is find what's comfortable for you and that feels natural. So you can say who you are and what you do. You can talk about how you can help people. You can talk about what you're looking for. And you can end, it's up to you, you don't have to do this, you can end with your name, obviously, and a tagline if possible. And I always end with saying, and that's me, Sue Boswell, and I can help you to change your life one drop at a time. And people just get to know what your tagline is. If you can think of something, you don't have to have that. You don't have to be smart or clever, but sometimes you just get something that you're very comfortable with. So, and it depends if you've got 30 or 60 seconds as well, because there's quite a difference between the two. You might be able to add in there how you got involved, or a little bit more if you've got a little bit longer. So you just need to practice that part of it, because that's going to be your little window of opportunity, if you like. So after this, we have got a handout, or we can send it out at the end of this that everybody can have if you'd like it. Here's just an example of one of the, so I do tend to vary my pitch sometimes because sometimes I'm seeing the same people. But I might say, hello everyone, my name is Sue Boswell. I work alongside a company called doTERRA, who are the world leader in the sourcing, manufacturing and testing of essential oils. We're looking for people who may wish to try a natural alternative to traditional pharmaceutical drugs, and we offer free samples of our products and free education too. So if you have any issues with joint or muscular pain, head tension, feelings of anxiety, or even if you would just like to get a better night's sleep, it would be great to connect with you. And that's when I would then say, and that's me, Sue Boswell, and I'd like to help you to change your life one drop at a time. So that kind of sticks with them, the last thing that you say, I think. So it's just an example, just really need to find what you're comfortable with. So you've gone to the meeting, you've done your pitch, and then while you've been on the meeting, it would be a good idea to write down people's names and what they did. And you'll have time to do that, and you'll also be able to click on the participants part of the meeting like you can here tonight and see who's on there and write them down. And the reason you need to do that is because normally you will receive a list of the attendees. People that run these meetings do tend to be quite professional, and afterwards you will receive usually a thank you email and a list of the people that were on the call. So what you first of all you need to do is to connect with all these people on social media. It's quite simple. You can usually find them quite easily, and so friend request them, follow them on Twitter and the platforms. That's really important that you can do that with everybody. And then you can set up your one-to-ones. I've now, because I've been doing this for a little while, I've started to get quite a few names on my list of people I want to connect with. So if I'm honest, at the moment, I'm tending to pick the ones that are a bit more holistic, maybe the yoga teacher people, but it's not just those people that will take an interest, as I will go on to explain. So set up one-to-ones. Me personally, at the moment, I'm setting up 10 one-to-ones a week. This week, I've decided to actually write down what I'm doing and get a ratio. So because if you've got a ratio, you can then be very sure about how the number of people that you can bring in and move forward. So this week and the following weeks, I'm going to set up 10 of these one-to-ones, and from that, and each week I'm going to work out how many people that actually brings into the business on a rolling on basis. So if I wanted to double the amount of people I get in, I know that I need to double the amount of one-to-ones, if you follow what I'm saying. So you're going to set up these one-to-ones. How are you going to do that? So mostly I'll message the people on Facebook Messenger. Some people I've done this on LinkedIn, but however you're going to connect with them. So you don't need to pick up the phone. You can almost hide behind the computer if you like, a bit like you did with your pitch. You hid behind the computer with your note of what you're doing. And it's just be something like, hey, great to see you this morning. Like tomorrow I'm going on one called the Wellness HQ. So it'd be great to see you this morning on the Wellness HQ. It would be great to connect with you over a virtual cuppa. Are you free next week on, say, Monday at 11 or Wednesday at 3 p.m? And always give them two choices. And then obviously they can come back to you and choose. Some people, I've noticed when they're booking up these one-to-ones, are using an app called Calendly. So you can actually almost send people your calendar and they can book in. But as you've already seen tonight, I'm really not that techy. So I simply do it like that. And so you can set up the time that you want to connect with these people. So when you do your one-to-one, it's really important that that it's not all about you. When you do any business networking, before when I did it physically and now online, it's about being a farmer and not a hunter. If people go in there and sort of blast the room to try and get sales, it really doesn't work. So just remember, it's not all about you. What goes around will come around. So having contacted your people you're going to have a one-to-one with, you'll set up a Zoom meeting room, or you can call them on Facebook Messenger, whatever suits, whatever's best. I do both, but mostly I've been calling people on Facebook Messenger. And then you can ask them questions. It's about connecting with people. It's about making friends, really, because once people know, like, and trust you, they're likely to recommend you. So you could ask things like this, just a few examples. You could ask maybe, how are you finding business in these tricky times? Because some people are having an absolute mare with their business, and other people not so bad. You can ask, how long has your business been running? Something like that. Just show an interest in other people. And you can ask them if they do a lot of networking, or how they're finding networking, what networking meetings they find work well, because then obviously that's going to give you clues of which ones to try. People will then ask you similar questions. Now, one little tip, and I think it's covered a bit later on, but while it's in my mind right now, a lot of people, yoga teachers, massage therapists, etc., who are really one of our best kind of markets, a lot of them aren't able to work at all at the moment, and a lot of them aren't picking up an income at all. A lot of them can't pick up any of the loans that are being offered out there because they haven't been in business very long, or when they have submitted their accounts, they've done them to try and not pay too much tax, and they can't get much of a loan. So they're left without an income. So it's quite interesting that you can talk to them about how we do work with a lot of people in that kind of industry, if you get the chance, and you can actually find that you end up with a second income. If it's a massage therapist, you could maybe, you know, they're probably using oils already. You could say what people find is that they bring our oils into play. People will often ask, what is that oil? How beautiful is that oil? How can I get that oil? And then they can end up with a second arm to their business. So you can just talk about how that does pan out for some people. So you can, well, when they're asking you questions, you can tell them a little bit about your story. Sometimes I talk about acid reflux issues that I've had. If you haven't got a story like that, refer to stories that you've got. You've all got stories in your bank. You can all use other people's stories. And then when you're talking about your business, I always say we're not in a selling business. We just simply offer people free samples and free education. So these are all just ideas of what you can say when you're chatting away that will lead you the right way. And then we can also say how we can also show people how to secure a second income. And that doesn't just have to be those holistic people that I spoke about. It can really be anybody. I spoke to a lady, actually. I've got a few examples of people I've spoken to as we go through, but a lady that's just come to mind, I set up a one-to-one with her, not knowing what to expect. She was actually a magistrate, and I set up a one with her, and she is totally, she hasn't come across the line yet, but she's someone that's got some samples, and she's really interested, and she just wants to try the samples. She's going to come on a class this week and then decide what she gets from there. So who would know that a magistrate would be interested? But you know, everybody's got problems with their health and would like some help when it boils down to it. So as I've covered this already because it was fresh in my mind, and you mentioned that we do work a lot with people in the wellness industry, and they can bring the oils into play and end up with a second string to their bow, really, and a second income stream. So these are just things you can be chatting away about while you're on the call, getting to know these people. I had a couple of one-to-ones today. One of them was great. The second one, the lady wasn't really interested at all. And that's fine. You're going to get some people like that. But I will speak to that lady again on another occasion and see how we go from there. So do take an interest in the other person. This is really the key thing. If they've got a YouTube channel, subscribe to it. Like their page. You've already probably by this stage connected with them on Facebook, etc. Sometimes their page has got a completely different name to their personal name. So like their page. Why not join their exercise class? I know it's not the case for everybody, but I've got more time certainly now. I've got a Pilates class that I go on, a yoga class. So take a real active interest in what people do. If they've written a book, buy their book. I've bought a couple of books I'm really interested to read. I'm not spending what I was spending on network on the network meetings, because now they're online, the majority are free. There's the odd one that's a £5, but really the majority are free. I think the people that run them are probably hoping that eventually we go back face to face and they can start charging again, but at the moment they're free. So I think, well, why not buy their book? I mean, I bought someone's book the other day, I think it was £5. So we're not talking big money. And then of course send samples where possible, send samples. Sometimes and that's another thing, obviously I say the meetings are free, but you might buy their book, or you might send samples, which obviously the oil costs money and so does the postage. So there is a little bit of cost there. Some people are interested but don't really have a particular health issue, and several times I've sent them a peppermint and wild orange and done that experience with them when they've received their oils, and they sometimes they've enjoyed it and gone on to buy some oil, sometimes they've just enjoyed it and it's been just a really nice connection to talk to them on Zoom. So it's just about making connections, and of course invite them to a class. Many times people have had the samples first, then they've come back to me and they've said, right, so how do I get hold of these? How do I get hold of some of these oils? And then that's an excellent opportunity to invite them onto a class. The class does the work for you, so there's no need to tie yourself up in knots. Just invite them onto a class and share alike, and you'll find that that is what will happen. You can invite them onto a class, or we do have a recorded one of our classes, which I think is on one of the slides coming up in a moment, www.one-to-one-oils.com, but I think that's coming up in a moment. So how's it gone so far? So I've got some examples of some people, and I've tried to pick different people so that you can see how different it can be. I mean, I've already spoken about today. Today I spoke to one lady, and she was in the travel industry, and she just really wasn't really that interested, and there's going to be some like that. Another lady I spoke to this morning, she was a life coach, but also did a bit of exercise classes and ran a few retreats, and she was really, really interested when we got to talking about the oils, and she's had some samples today. And when we go out to walk our dog in the afternoons, I go out with my little letters to post with my samples in, and kind of I'm getting to know that some of these are going to turn into people that are going to join us on our doTERRA journey, so it's really exciting. So this is an example of a man at network meetings. I'd met this man twice before at a physical meeting, and it's very much the norm now that when you're on the meeting, the person that's hosting the business online network meeting is encouraging everyone to go away and book one-to-ones with people. Now, if I was at the physical meeting, I probably wouldn't have gone up to this guy and said, hey, do you want a one-to-one? Can we meet up for a coffee? I probably wouldn't have done that. But because I'm kind of, again, hiding behind the computer, it's just sort of the done thing to connect with people after the network meeting. So he was on my list, and we had a one-to-one meeting. And when we got chatting, it turned out that he had a snoring problem, and he said, have you got anything to help with that? And to cut a long story short, he enrolled just with the diffuser and the air to begin with, and he'd had that for 2 days, and this lady that I'd never met before was ringing me, and it turned out that it was this guy's other half, and she was thanking me unreservedly because they both had a night's sleep, which was something that they hadn't had for absolute ages. So he's someone that I'm booked in later in the week to have a wellness consultation with, but I'll make sure his wife's involved so that they can both learn more about the oils. So that's interesting, because I wouldn't necessarily have probably had a one-to-one with him. Next one I chose to use as an example is a lady called Jackie. She was on a wellness meeting, online meeting, and never met her before in my life, never heard of her, but she was on my list, and she was a Reiki teacher, and she had some other strings to her bow, and I thought, well, that'd be a good lady to connect with. So I messaged her, and she said, oh yeah, that'd be great. Well, she cancelled me lots of times, she rearranged lots of times, and I thought, this is probably going nowhere. Eventually we did connect, and we spoke on Facebook Messenger, and she was, bless her, really quite poorly, suffering with depression, really struggling with life. And so I sent her some samples, and I did send, one of the samples I sent to her was frankincense. Now, I wouldn't normally send that because it's an expensive oil, but I could see that it would benefit this lady. And I always remember something that Rebecca Bowles said to me in the early days, which was, be generous with your oils. And I just felt that this lady deserved to have a few drops out of my frankincense bottle. So I sent her the frankincense. And when she got it, I just got her to put a drop on her finger and put it in her roof of her mouth. And she could not believe how much that lifted her mood. She was just taken aback so much by that. And she went, from there, she came onto a class. And from there, she enrolled with a Home Essentials kit. She's already set up her LRP, and she's looking to bring the oils into her business. And I'm hoping that for her, like for me, it's going to be a life changer as far as the depression issue goes. But that's a lady that I would never have met if I hadn't have probably gone onto that online meeting. And another interesting lady is a lady called Rachel. Rachel is a lady who has a husband that's been at a business networking meeting, which is one of my favourite ones that I've been going to. Oh, even in the business before this one, but the whole of the time we've been in doTERRA, I've been going to this network meeting, and this guy is there every time. And he's had samples, he's had his acid reflux issues fixed. He came to the meeting once, he had a prescription to go and get some osmeprazole from the doctor. I said, before you go and get that, just try this peppermint. And he did, and it worked, and he'd had other things that worked, but he still didn't buy any oils. And then online networking came along, COVID-19 came along, and these meetings followed. And on the meeting, this guy's daughter came on. And the guy's daughter came on the meeting because she's part of the business that he ran. And she became very interested in the oils. And I sent her some samples again, and she came on a class again. And she joined with the Family Essentials kit and was interested to get to know the oils, but at a later date to run the business. However, once these oils were in the family, she's already recruited her mum. So it's interesting that this guy that I've been seeing for years now recruited his wife, who was Rachel, and also his daughter. So that was a really interesting thing. So it could be someone that you've known for ages, could come from someone you've never met, or someone you've only known a little bit. And there's been other more simple ones. I mean, there was one lady, I think it's mentioned on here. Oh yeah, I've recruited since lockdown. I've recruited 8 people just from going to online network meetings alone. I mean, there's been others from other methods like warmness and stuff. But just 8 people from just going on a few online meetings. So that's why this week I've decided I'm going to make sure I do 10, 10, 10, and probably crank it up further. And there's been other ladies. There's one lady that I simply sent her a sample of lavender. I chatted with her after the meeting. I said, is there a sample I could send you? Is there anything that troubles you? She said, well, I do get very anxious. What could you send me for that? And I sent her a little sample of lavender, and she was able to relax when she inhaled it. And she came back and she joined. She had a kit, and she joined right when the BOGOs came in. So she added some BOGOs to that as well. So it's just been an absolute blast. So some tips on this. So keep a note of everything. I've always kept notes of everybody that I've met, every lead that I've had since I started in doTERRA. I had someone join recently that I spoke to, only a few months into our doTERRA journey, and they joined recently. You just never know. So, and I've always been a little bit messy about keeping a note and keeping records. I've had sheets of paper from events, I'm just being honest. I've had little cards where I've kept records and things like that. And people have nagged me for ages to get a CRM, a client record manager, and finally I've done it. It's so easy. Even for me, it's so easy. So the one that I love, and a lot of people I know use, is called HubSpot. So from now on, every lead that I get, I'm putting into HubSpot. And what's good about that is you can write notes about everything these people you're meeting, like their child's name, their dog's name, all their health issues. And you can also hit a task on there to set yourself a reminder for when you're going to do the follow-up, which is the most important thing that you should do overall. So that's a real good tip there. And be regular. When you find some of these online networking meetings to go on, be regular so that people get to know you. I think a mistake a lot of people are making is people that aren't able to carry on with their businesses in lockdown have disappeared. They've isolated themselves and they're not around, but they just need to be regular. When I was chatting to a lady today who was in the travel industry, you know, she decided that although she can't really book anybody's holidays right now, she's going to still keep coming to the online networking so that people know where to come when this is all over. So it's a good time to be building relationships. And, you know, apart from sending out a few samples, it's all free. So it's just been so incredible. And so you are building relationships. So just get to know people, be genuine, and know for sure that we have got here life-changing oils that can really help people in their life. So why wouldn't we share that? And it's a good idea to have a presence on social media. If you're a bit rusty on that, or you're not really engaging on that very much, well, why not start? We've got more time now than we had before, so why not get involved on social media and try and connect with a few more people. So finally, I can take any questions afterwards if anybody's got any questions or whatever, but the fortune is in the follow-up. You know, it never ceases to amaze me. All the years that we've been in business, people do all this and they don't do the follow-up. Don't do all this and expect them just to come back to you. You need to follow up. You wouldn't put a lot of effort into arranging a holiday and not take the trip, would you? And you wouldn't buy the food and prepare for a dinner party and then not invite any guests, would you? So finish the job. It's where the magic happens. So don't put all this work in, and it's not even hard. All you're going to do is book yourself into a few online business network meetings. You're going to go on there, you're going to write a list of people that you connect with and start connecting with them and booking one-to-ones. And it's just sowing seeds that are, and it just seems to really have a really roller coaster starting to build now, and I can really feel a system kicking in. So we have got we've written out a system sheet that Andy's got that to send out to people afterwards. So hopefully you've got some ideas from that. I'll stop sharing my screen now. Hopefully I'll do it right. So I think I should be able to hand back to Lisa now.
Sue, that was really brilliant. I loved it. Thank you.
Good.
We I think we might have had some questions, and I thought it'd be actually really nice if we did a little bit of a social